shout out to MAGA Kristi Noem, okay, another awesome MAGA patriot, absolutely annihilating this woke liberal narrative of this Maryland man, okay? So it's actually pretty crazy here in this segment. And, one of the things that, really crosses my mind as I see this is it's confusing as to why this El Salvador guy is being called a Maryland man, okay, when he's here illegally. He is an illegal immigrant. So it's pretty, it's kind of like they're trying to have everybody feel bad and create this outrage. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Drop down below in the comments what you guys think about Kristi Noem and everything going on with this story. Let's jump right into it. Shout out to King Squad. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Let's go.
So today, President Trump will host the president of El Salvador at the White House. The two are expected to discuss Trump's push to deport criminal migrants like the ones the administration already sent to the mega prison in El Salvador. Meantime, the Department of Justice says that the courts have no authority to order the administration to return the deported Maryland man back to the United States. Joining us now, the Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem. Welcome, Madam Secretary. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me, Lawrence.
So, Madam Secretary, I'm enjoying this showdown because the Supreme Court essentially gave the courts some authority as it relates to coming up with an agreement, but it didn't say that the court could do foreign policy. In your latest filing, I found something very interesting from it. This is you, the plaintiff. This is your court filing. It says the plaintiff invite the court to exceed its own authority in the precise sort of way the Supreme Court cautioned them against. This court should decline that invitation. So it's saying if you keep getting out of line, then we'll just let the Supreme Court deal with you. Is that y'all's position?
Yes, I think that what the Supreme Court said here in this decision was a very clear message to other judges across this country, is that stop acting like you have the authority to dictate foreign policy and national security decisions that the president is making to protect its citizens. So this was just one of those examples of an individual that, was an MS-13 gang member, had multiple charges and encounters with the individuals here. Trafficking in his background, was found with other MS-13 gang members, very dangerous person. And what the liberal left and the fake news are doing to turn him into a media darling is sickening. We need to stop doing this, stop allowing liberal judges to try to dictate what President Trump is doing to make America safe again. So I'm grateful for the Supreme Court's decision, and I'm hopeful that we can have a new path forward where the president and his powers are recognized.
This judge has said that he wants daily updates.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't we be focused on the updates of the American people on the day-to-day that are being victimized by these criminal aliens?
Absolutely. That's what we get up every single day to make sure that we are doing, Lawrence. It's amazing what President Trump has already done by closing down the border, making sure we're enforcing our federal laws, doing all we can to identify those that are in this country that don't belong here, that are committing crimes, and we're continuing to enact policies that will give us the chance to do that. You've had quite a bit of...
I'm just going to interject right there and say, it absolutely is getting worse. Okay, it keeps getting worse. They're trying to, if they can't get people riled up over like racism and this, and stuff like that. Okay, let's get everybody riled up with, an immigrant. Let's retitle him, call him a Maryland man and not an illegal immigrant, a man who committed a federal crime being here illegally. And let's call him a Maryland man who was deported. Okay, and mistakenly deported. Let's just create this narrative and push it across all the lamestream left-wing media, okay, and get people enraged. The raging liberals, they need a reason to explode. That's kind of what I'm getting. That is not kind of, actually, this is exactly what I'm getting the more I see this stuff. So shout out to MAGA Kristi Noem for absolutely annihilating this liberal narrative that's being pushed throughout the media, okay? And on top of that, we don't even feel sorry for our own criminals. So why are the people, getting all bent out of shape over, someone who is here illegally, someone who literally committed a federal crime? So these are things that cross my mind as I'm seeing this. Let me know what you guys think. How are you feeling about this down below? I always look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and it gets absolutely worse. Let's keep going.
A discussion on Real ID and its implementation here in the country. And the reason that Real ID is being enforced is because it's a federal law. Joe Biden kicked the can to May 7th. And this Real ID is going to just empower the states to make sure we're checking people's residences. Their current legal status will be verified. We're going to make sure that people who are getting Social Security numbers in this country aren't voting in states. The states have the power and the information to ensure election integrity. And here at the federal level, that information is not going to be any biometric information. It'll just allow people to get an ID that they should be on our planes. They should be people that are United States residencies, and that legal status will be checked. So it'll allow us to get more information to states so that they're making sure that they're protecting their election laws as well.
So, Madam Secretary, what's the confusion on this? Because I've heard some women say that this is very difficult for them. I actually checked. Apparently, in the state of Texas, I already have a real ID. I didn't even know it was given to me.
Yeah, it's interesting, Lawrence. You know, some of the most conservative states are the first ones to put it in place because they recognized. You know, South Dakota was the first state to do it. Florida, Texas. We already have 81% compliance of all travelers already have a real ID. And already use it. So that's why TSA is working so hard to educate people ahead of the deadline to get that other small percentage educated so that it can be operated and put into place smoothly to ensure that people who are on traveling in our country, that we know who they are, that they live here, that we know what their legal status is, and that we can make sure we share that information and states have that information. We want the states to be compliant in this, which is a database that they have access to that the federal government doesn't use for any purposes.
So I'm just going to interject right there and say, you know, it's really crazy how Trump has the highest approval rating. He's literally, standing on business. He's getting the job done. He's literally cleaning America up to the best of his ability. Okay, this man literally gets no sleep. He's doing interviews at 2 a.m. Okay. And, here the liberals are saying, well, if we can't get people to hate on Trump and we can't get people to think that Trump is racist, well, then how about we just create, sympathy for an illegal? All right. They tried the same thing when they said that, Trump is separating families. He's splitting up families and everything like that. And that's when we addressed them on the fact that a family deported together stays together. All right. Right there. And they tried it. They really did. And then on top of that, we have to address the fact that this man is not a Maryland man. He's a citizen of El Salvador. All right. So, it's like they're just trying to draw sympathy for an illegal and get people riled up because they need a reason to rage. And, this is the party of anti-common sense and emotional terrorism, inciting violence, instilling fear in others, and anxiety. So this is the stuff that we generally see coming from liberal media, and I'm so glad that MAGA Kristi Noem is addressing these situations, this narrative, and annihilating it. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below about that, and let's continue on with the video.
Madam Secretary, Antonio Gracias, who works under Elon Musk, is reportedly going to lead this specialized DOGE immigration task force to help you develop some infrastructure within your department. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I've met Antonio, and he's brilliant. He's going to be working to make sure that individuals who got Social Security numbers in this country should be using them for the right things, and they shouldn't be on our benefit programs. We have over 6,000 individuals that have been identified through their work already that have been on the terrorist watch list, that they are known criminals.
How does that happen, Madam Secretary? How does that happen?
It happens when you put a train wreck like Joe Biden in the White House, and it's going to be a lot of work to clean it up. But just in the last 4.5 years, we've had over 9 million people get Social Security numbers that are not U.S. citizens. So they may be people who have some sort of legal status, but a lot of them are illegals that were given a Social Security number in just the last 4.5 years that we're going to have to figure out if they should be here, if they are here legally under a program, and if they are here illegally, then they certainly shouldn't be using that Social Security number to be on our programs, and they should be removed or given the opportunity to go home on their own. That's the one thing President Trump would like, is everybody to be given the opportunity to go home if they would wish to.
And real quickly, I only got about 30 seconds, Madam Secretary. This meeting between the El Salvadorian president and President Donald Trump, does that indicate that the flights will continue, that the deportation, that you guys aren't going to allow the courts to stop you?
Well, I think the conversation is going to be extremely beneficial. El Salvador's been a fantastic partner. And when I was in El Salvador visiting with President Bukele, we talked about the fact that he would accept more flights, would accept more individuals into CCOT. So I'm looking forward to that partnership continuing.
Secretary Kristi Noem, thank you so much for joining the program.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence.
Appreciate you.
All right, and there we have it. Okay, shout out to MAGA Kristi Noem for addressing this and letting it be known what's going on out here. Okay, really awesome. And one of the things I definitely want to highlight is shout out to all the awesome women that, you know, Trump has put in position and employed and, you know, allowed to speak and set an example for just women in general. So that's something that, you know, is really awesome to see. Definitely, you know, when in comparison, you know, you see the liberals, it's just a hot mess on their side. So, you know, it's great to see that coming from, you know, the Trump administration. And another thing I want to highlight is the fact that, you know, not only do we have the most transparent administration ever, it's also, you know, I personally believe that we have the best, you know, cabinet ever, like the best, you know, presidential cabinet ever. Okay, drop down below in the comments if you guys agree, and or even if not, okay, let me know your thoughts down below. I always look forward to seeing how you guys feel and what your thoughts are regarding all of these topics and these subjects. You know, I really think that, you know, Trump is, you know, setting an awesome example of, you know, just putting the work in and someone who's passionate about his country and putting people in position with to have a voice to really put on display, you know, true patriotism. Okay. Those are things that cross my mind as I see these, you know, see everything, you know, play out. So that's my thoughts on this, guys. Shout out to the King Squad. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, you know, definitely stay tuned for more. So I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Peace.